Alright, hello. This is the Mushroom Men Any Speedrun. It's a project that I mostly routed out and glitch hunted on my own. Well, actually, I shouldn't say mostly, because there was one trick that was discovered by someone else that I found on the SDA forums that does contribute a lot to the speed of the game and is a huge help, actually. You'll see it in a second. The tutorial at the moment. Don't worry, half of it is skippable, so I don't have to sit through all of this. Okay. So, this is what makes this game fast. This. By jumping out of a roll at a specific point, I keep the speed that I was at in the roll, and I basically propel myself far really fast. And I'm pretty sure this is a glitch because it does break some of the areas of the game. They did seem to get a bit ambitious with some of the mechanics they included in this game. They included the ability to glide. They included telekinesis into the game, which is what originally attracted me to it. I thought, hey, a game like this that has telekinesis could be broken. And I'd be interested in looking into that. Well, turns out it was broken for different reasons. Okay. Here's the telekinesis tutorial, just tells you what it does. Move certain objects out of the way. But only objects that have like green spores attached to them. But it doesn't work on everything. These capsules contain parts of weapons. I'm going to be collecting some of them in order to get better weapons as I go along the game. In some spaces, it is hard to do the roll jumping because of like low-hanging roofs or curving corridors. Or like that just hang down, get in the way. Hammer there. Oh, all right. So one of the things about the roll jumping is that I don't get as much height as normal jumps. So I won't always be using it in every situation. Here I'm going to be a little bit slow, because if I get in front of this minecart, it can kill me. So I'm just going to ride it. Get that boost there. And coming up is a telekinesis tip. This canister here is fairly large, and the path to the left, if I go up it, I'll run into a boulder that'll stop me along the way. I'll just kind of have to run away from it. So instead of doing that, I'm going to jump on top of the canister and then jump up here. Before I continue to beat the level, I need to come back here for a second and get a weapon part. It's going to say I can build a weapon right now, but it's not very good compared to the one I have. I just need it for a weapon later on. I'm going to have to be careful for the cart falling down here. Items. Fine. That skip back there also did skip a text box that would take a while to go through. So, yeah. Pretty nice that they just left that canister there. Alright, that was pretty good. Now I have to hit these, like, support beams. A bit harder to hit with the hammer, but I did fine. Much easier to hit with the blade, but making the blade for that isn't worth it. Because it would have ended up taking much longer to kill the moles. Here's another thing that they put in the game. Along with gliding and, you know, Telekinesis, they put in a grapple. I thought the grapple would be broken too, but it turned out to not be that broken compared to Kinesis, gliding, and wall jumping. But there are just some things about grappling that are important, and that's cancel grapple. So if I go all the way through with the grapple, I kind of hang off the wall and then need to either like wait to drop down or do this jump off and then wait to fall back to the ground. But right before I hit the end of a grapple, I'll always try to cancel the grapple again. This way I don't go into that really long animation. It saves a lot of time, actually. And you'll see how long the animation of hanging on the wall is later. So here's a level that's pretty much broken by Telekinesis, because they obviously intended a lot of platforming to be done in this level. However, you don't really need to do it because of how far the range on Kinesis effect just is. So there are these kudzu, and they won't let me leave this dead until I deal with all the rabbits that are eating their vines. Yeah, I'm killing. Sorry. And like, here's one of the ones that are pretty broken by the range of Telekinesis. I'm basically intended to climb all the way up there on the beams and knock it down from up there. But since the range is so far, I can just do it from there instead. And skip a lot of platforming it would have taken to get up there. And same with the next two rabbits that I'm going to deal with. So you see all those leaves that I'm probably supposed to climb, but I didn't because of how far the range on Telekinesis is. And same right here. I'm probably supposed to be up on the beams when I knock that down, but that was interesting. That spider was doing interesting. So here I'm just rolling because of the low-hanging ceiling problem. And this one's just, like, straightforward. Okay, and now the exit of the level opens and I... And here's another boss. So this boss is going to fire apple cores at me, and then I need to grab them out of the air and then fire them back. Dodge out of the way so that it breaks the rock, and then hit him when he's down. After each hit from this point on, he's going to do this like rake animation right there. I'm just going to move close to him so to cancel that rake animation. I am technically supposed to sit behind... Hold on. I am technically supposed to sit behind the rocks when I grab the core out of the air. But since I want to be close to him to cancel the rake animation after every hit, I should just stand in front of the rock. And I don't really have time to get behind it. Well, I probably do, but I just don't want to bother. Alright, that was pretty good. It's actually much more annoying to grab those out of the air than I made it look. And sometimes throwing it back just fails. It just doesn't go straight back at the jackalope for whatever reason. They may just disappear from existence. Never hit. Which can be pretty annoying. But that went well. So this level. This level is probably both the most broken and the hardest level in the run. Mostly it's difficult because of this first trick and the fight that follows it. So I pretty much need to get this first trick first try with no hesitation, so hold on, I need to concentrate. Alright, I did it. That skips fighting the queen bee. It also skips the text box. I could still get the text box if the bee comes up here and takes a lot of damage, which is always possible. I really need to not die at this point, though. I have to be really careful with combat because it is easy to get comboed. And at the same time, enemies can take my health packs and heal themselves. Also, since I never killed the queen bee back there, these mushrooms that are supposed to be caged there are just invisible. It's a neat little side effect. That was actually a really good fight. Probably the best I've ever had a fight there. Because the glass bottle at the beginning hit a lot of them. Alright, so there I just skipped some platforming. It's also a lot easier than the intended platforming there. Now here's the real reason why this level is broken. This puzzle here is incredibly long and incredibly boring and incredibly tedious. But I found a way to skip it. I pretty much came to this area, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to run into walls and hope one of them doesn't exist for whatever reason. And worked. One of the walls just didn't exist. So now I'm out of bounds, because the wall didn't exist. Pretty nice. Say. I'm going to try to carefully grab this capsule that's inbounds, out of bounds. And I'm going to make that weapon. Because I'm going to need it in this next level. This is a spear. Spears are nice, because they help controlling enemies. They help with control. Okay, so now I'm going to fly out of bounds in between spaces that are inbounds around this corner and come to the end of the level, skipping that entire really long puzzle. That's boring. Fantastic skip. I'm glad I found it. Because that puzzle is awful. It's so boring, and it's just not in the run now. I probably would be less inclined to run this game if I didn't find that skip. So now here's another level there. There's a pretty great skip. The intent is that I fight these enemies and the hot air balloon comes back to the first platform to pick me up. And then I guide it up the tower by opening the air vents on later platforms by hitting these corks. Right up the tower and hit a switch that opens the door down here. However, I can hit the switch from down here, so I don't need to ride the air balloon at all. Another thing that was kind of broken by the range of the telekinesis. And by keeping the switch within line of sight. There's one reason why a spear is useful, is that I can push that enemy back. And get past him more easily. Otherwise, it's very easy for him to kind of zone me off the platform. Spear also makes it easier to pass these enemies here by just doing that dash over them. Oh my god. Alright, well, my computer just did something good. I thought I took care of. So now I'm just gonna hold on to the acorns and try my best to hit this boss as he comes on screen. I need to be careful to move away from the side of the screen he's on, because when he turns around, his tail whips me. Be very bad about standing in the range of that tail. I think it's one more hit should do it. Yeah, there we go. This is one of the more longer levels of the run. I've tried very hard to find skips for it, but I've pretty much failed. There are some minor points to it, though. First off, I get to have the fun of doing this puzzle. Messing this up a little bit. Yeah, I'm messing this up. It's fine though. I'll just kind of stand at the end of the tracks to pull the cars over, and then I hit the switch to release them from the bottom, the telekinesis. I think it's intended that I stand on top of the switch and to do that, but, you know. And I'm going to fight these enemies in a very interesting way. Alright, that was a little slow because I was lacking in spore power to do executions, and I was kind of slow to realize it. Whoa, that is the first time I've ever seen him just like jump that gap at me. Hopefully it doesn't knock me off here. Alright, I'm fine. Let's fidget with these door switches for a second. This is basically just making so that all the doors are open at the same time. Because I do have to come back and forth through this hallway a few times. So I don't want to mess with the door switch every time I walk through it. We're gonna get a slightly better spear here. That will help with dealing with the enemies in this level. But I am gonna have to fight quite a few in a little bit. If I hit that switch. Alright, there we go. That was a pretty good combat portion. I've certainly seen much worse there. Aiming the Wii remote is a bit of an issue sometimes, though. But yeah. So a bit of a fun fact about this level is that I've actually found a way to get around the door to get to the end of the level from the start. However, I can't activate the lever at the end until I play this minigame. And I can't play the minigame until I've done all this other stuff. So this level pretty much is unskippable, unfortunately. Even though it is possible to get to the end objective. Pretty early. Somehow I accidentally killed the wizard, but that's... I'll take it. So coming up is the minigame that I was talking about, which is the one that I need to play before I can finish the level. So, since this minigame is mandatory, I'm just kind of instantly fail it. I don't need to do well at the minigame at all. I just need to play the minigame. So it's faster to just lose all my lives instantly than actually try to do anything about it. And to be honest, it's kind of a boring minigame, so you don't really want to see me try anyway. Especially because there's aim assist, it's like one of that point. But yeah, this door opens, and as I said, there's a way around it that I found, but it doesn't matter because I can't do anything. Alright, so yeah, here's like the end lag with the grapple that I was talking about. It's kind of awful. Look at that, you just hang off of it forever. And here's the switch at the end of the level. The one that can't be pulled until you play the minigame. It just doesn't come down at all. Really annoying. But whatever. The level isn't that awful to play, so definitely not as bad as the puzzle that can be skipped in Moral Backyard. That's for sure. So this level is a lot of combat. A lot of battles that are different than other ones I usually see. At least two of them are. The other two are just kind of become so stun locky that it doesn't really matter. So here I'm waggling at him, and he does. The next battle I'm gonna try to like going to be a bit different. I'm going to try to use this little canister that's over to the right. And there we go. And while I'm celebrating, I'm going to stand in this position where the leaf will pick me up. Oh, I almost fell there by hitting the lamp. I'm in a bit of a rough spot at the moment, actually. One more hit and I'm dead. This isn't a huge do, it just takes a little while to respawn. There's like more hits during that first mushroom fight than I thought. Hopefully I can get health for the bamboo guys. Well, I know there's a health dispenser right here, but I have to enter the fight first. Do I? Oh, I don't. Oh. I can just stand outside. Why is that? I can't just walk away from these fights, by the way. I mean, I could, and just continue on the level. But it won't finish until I fought everyone. Alright, that was a pretty good fight, actually. This area is pretty laggy, so I'm gonna try to like look up as best I can, but I'm not staring at the waterfall. And it's massive amounts of lag. Here's the final fight. Gonna appear over here to the left. Alright, and there we go. And that's it for that level. That was actually really good. All the fights were pretty good. I took a few more hits than I'd like on the Earth mushroom fight, but I did get health, so it didn't really matter. It just went smoothly overall. This is another slightly long level, but it does have some pretty neat skips to it. There's this large mushroom general that I need to destroy, but he'll one-shot me if I try to go fight him on my own, so I need to help this cactus get free so that the two of them can go on this really big battle. But the cactus has been imprisoned, and his limbs have been separated from his body. So I need to go out of my way to find his limbs and free them. So this little platforming section is skippable. There are two ways I can skip it. The first one is get a huge boost there, which I did, which is good. The second one would be to just long jump around one of the covers. Just slightly slower. But yeah, activating platforms like this while standing over it gives you this weird glitched out boost. I'm going to stand here when I hit this switch, because once I do, the platform next to me will drop. That the hard way in one of them. That's one of them freed, and now I need to come over here to do the other one. I don't know how I just took damage from that baseball that was stationary. That was really weird. I took it a little bit safe there and went to the far left platform. Because if I don't have enough height, then it's my time. So here I'm supposed to drop these, like, lids on these things. And that to weigh them down. I'm supposed to do it for both of them, but since I have the long jump, I'm just going to do it for the far one. And then long jump across. That's part of the reason why I think long jump is intended. Is because it breaks this puzzle. That was incredibly good, actually. That was, like, really good and really smooth. But yeah, I'm just gonna be friends with the baseball right now and send the baseball that way, where I will use it a lot during combat in a little bit, just like I did back there. Because right now that baseball is gonna do more damage than my weapon does. I will be getting a better weapon soon, so that won't be an issue for me.
Get him.
And see, the baseball is in here now. So now the cactus and the giant mushroom general will fight. And the small enemies will come after me. And I'll have to deal with the small enemies. Okay, so now the big general is going to chase me around the arena, and he's going to try to kill me. I'm supposed to run away. However, instead of doing that, I'm just going to take the hits from him and die. This will end this phase of running away a little bit sooner than if I actually try to survive. And just start the next phase of combat. Thank God the mage came down. I've actually had the mage just not come down sometimes. Or, well, once, ever. And it was pretty bad. Like that. For some reason I wasn't able to grab the ball from where it landed. That's it for the ball. Now here I need to go up to the side here. Activate two switches that are in these kind of back room areas. I will be doing a death warp in a little bit. After the second switch. Alright, so this is an issue. It's very hard to aim the grapple sometimes, and these scorpions are getting in the way. Okay, I got it. It's better than dying though, but that could have been better. It's fine that I took these hits though, because I am going to need Death Warp in a little bit anyway. I just won't stop to take the hits from the scorpion and the spear. Normally I would take intentional hits there, but I already took them, then it's fine. And here I kind of just get destroyed as soon as the text ends, which is fine, because this is when I wanted to death ward. So I'm back here and I can just hit the final objective and win. That's not the end of the game. That's not what I mean by win. But yeah. So this is the level I'm finally going to get an upgrade to my weapon. Yay. Because this will be the best spear in the game. And as I said before, spears help with just kind of stun locking enemies and controlling them so that they don't really bother me much at all. Let's be awkward for a second. There's one of the parts, and I just need one more that is also in this level. So, if I'm slow in this area at all, it can become an issue really fast. Because there's a lot of bees in this area that for some reason have kind of this global global aggro range or something. And if I'm slow, then they just kind of build up and make it just a lot harder to get to this area without any problems. Also, this was a good jump. Yeah, you can kind of see them all just gradually swarming towards me there. But it's fine. I made it. It's a pretty stressful area to go through, to be honest, because of all the bees that you just see coming towards you. Could potentially knock me out of the air. This is the final boss, by the way. I don't fight him right now, but I'll fight him later. He will be the final boss later. Alright. Oh my god. Okay, I'm fine. It actually is okay that I'm at this low of health, because I am going to need to do this somewhat death abuse in a little bit. There's a boss in the area where I do kind of need a lot of spore power, more than I really readily given. However, dying refreshes. Oh, my jump got in there because I stepped off a platform as I tried to jump. I have to be pretty careful here because it's really easy to fall. And I can't really do rolls much because it's easy to get caught on slightly too high up ledges. And roll jumping is very useful because I need like height in a lot of my jumps here. Alright, so here's the boss of this area. Turtle. And I need a lot of spore power for this turtle. It's actually going to need the bee to hit me. That is not it. Hit me again, D. Alright, I'm gonna let the turtle hit me. There we go. So now I respawn with more spore power. I could technically kill the bees for more spore power, but they're not very reliable because sometimes they just fly away if you try to deal with them. There they were pretty reliable though. Aiming is hard, dude. Alright, there we go. That was rougher than it should have been. So, we're now on the second to last level, the level before the final boss. Not a very long level. Tried to find ways to skip this, but all I really found were ways to soft lock it. But it's not that long, so it doesn't really matter that much. Like, a skip probably would have saved less than... probably like 30 seconds. So what I need to do is I need to collect these rocket ship parts in order to get past the air conditioning. I try to fly over the air conditioning, it doesn't work. The game just stops you. You might see it right here. But there's this kind of blowback effect. Yeah, that. And after I get this last piece, this boss here spawns. And well, it's not a very impressive boss, because I just need to activate that drill and then activate this hand. And he dies. Yeah, not the most impressive boss, I gotta say. Okay, hopefully this leads. Okay. Didn't fall. Good. Sometimes the camera up here, though, can be a bit iffy and mess me up. But didn't do anything weird, so made it. There really isn't much from this point on that can go wrong. Yeah, there's really not much that can go wrong. Trying to think about it. I could potentially fall off trying to get up to the final boss, but let's not think about that. Let's happy thoughts. Here's the final boss, and the level name is Robot Wife. Fitting name. as the level, the final boss fight is fought on top of a kind of a robot wife, as the name implies. That's her. Slippers. Now for the final boss fight. These enemies can be a bit rough, mostly because of these dual-wielding enemies. On top of the fact that he's firing projectiles at me. So after I kill the enemies, I kind of have to launch the projectiles back at him. Trying to be careful of incoming projectiles, also the fact that I only have 1 HP left, and okay, where is he? There he is. So now he's going to fire multiple projectiles, and I need to be careful. Oh, wow, I failed to grab both of them. Because if I instantly throw one back, the second that I grab it, it'll hit the one behind it, and nothing will happen. So I need to kind of move out of the way or wait. Yeah, I kind of expected to die there due to my being at 1 HP. But that's an okay death. Whoa, that was really weird. Okay, so I needed him to teleport over there just so I can activate that. And then I need to destroy those cables so the head falls back, and then I can fight him on top of the head. And now I'm just going to kind of stun lock him in the corner here. Oh, I need the cursor. Okay. And there we go. That's Mushroom and the Spore Wars. And that is a PB. Very good PB, actually. Wow. That's actually a really good time. And I will continue to work towards getting a sub 50. But yeah, damn. I didn't expect to have that big of an improvement.